Hello, I'm Alexandra J. Johnson with the Entheos Academy for Optimal Living. Today I am chatting with Natalia Rose about her course PhDetox. Natalia is a clinical nutritionist and also a graduate of New York University. She believes that cleansing at a cellular level is the key to vibrant health, emotional balance, and mental clarity. If you enjoy this interview and all of Natalia's wisdom, you can sign up for her fantastic course below. Enjoy. Hello, Natalia. It's so great to be chatting with you.
You too, Alexandra. I'm happy to be here.
And I am thrilled about all of your work, and I'm really thrilled about this course, PhDetox. Can you tell us what is detox? Because I know there's a lot of ideas of what detox is, but can you share a little bit about that?
Okay, well, essentially, detoxification is a process of removing the rubbish, the things that accumulate in the body that never were intended to be there to begin with, and getting them on out of the body. And it's really a two-step process that requires an awakening of the old waste and removal of that waste. If you just awaken, it's not complete, and certainly it's the removal of it that makes it a detoxification. Otherwise, it's just a theoretical cleanse. It's a theoretical detoxification. You want the actual matter to leave the body. That is detoxification. That's what I get excited about.
So a lot of times it's detox. People don't think that it's the actual removal. It's thinking changing the diet and all of that. So how do you actually, this is a big question, and I know you'll go into it in the course, but how do you start to remove that? Toxic matter?
I should correct myself. I should say that's hypothetical detox, not theoretical detox. Hypothetical detox. You do that by using the electromagnetic force in raw fruits, vegetables, and their juices to literally magnetize the old waste up and out of the cells. And then the body's eliminative organs, with the help ideally of some colonics and enemas, saunas, all kinds of, sunbathing, that sort of thing, can help pull it out of the body. So the body has lots of eliminative organs, and it's a matter of taking full advantage of those organs and knowing how to do that to maximize the efficiency of the detoxification process.
So cool. And then for people, everyone can detox, right? I mean, some people are like, oh, I don't really need to do a detox. I eat healthy, or I'm vegetarian, or I know you have a lot of those. What's the story on who can detox and who should detox?
Gosh, anyone who's lived in the modern world for more than 3 minutes, pretty much, you can eat pretty well and get away with a lot if you have good DNA. If you come into the world with what I call a full deck. But most of us don't come into the world with a full deck. They come into the world with defunct organs, tired organs. So many generations of misguided living have created our generation. Mm-hmm. So we're suffering from the sort of the compromised cells and DNA that we're getting because of that, of those generations. And so our intestines might not be as strong and powerful. People who are suffering from, IBS being the umbrella imbalance, but so many different intestinal problems under that umbrella. That's coming from a combination of an already somewhat tired, defunct intestine, coupled with the onslaught of these things that are impossible to digest to begin with. So put those things in a strong body, like in our grandmother's generation, and they can still live to be 80 or 90 and smoking their cigarettes and drinking their whiskey.
Right.
And you wonder, well, how did that happen? And then look at me, somebody might say, well, they're 25 and they're having issues that really only a 50-year-old should have. So we're basically breaking down sooner because of what we come in with and what we're then asking the body to contend with. It's a double whammy.
Wow. So somebody who, and I'll share for me personally, I've had some challenges at a young age. And so is there hope for the people who are watching this that are saying, I've definitely had challenges. I'm going through challenges. I'm 20, I'm 30, I'm 50. Is there a possible to kind of rejuvenate and regenerate?
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. The answer is yes, if you do it properly, and you will regenerate equal to the amount of waste you remove. So if you get busy about the business of awakening and releasing the old waste, that is your illness, that is your lethargia, that's your whether it's bad skin, whether it's under eye circles, whether it's muscle fatigue, whether it's headaches, you name it, arthritis, all of these things are just a factor of accumulation, blockages in the body. remove the blockages, and suddenly you have a free-flowing stream. And when you have a free-flowing stream, you have life, you have that regeneration. So yes, at any age, it's totally possible. You just have to know what the cause is and then know how to correct it.
That's so great. And you talk a lot about, maybe this ties in with it, toxicity. Can you just share a little bit about what toxicity is, and just share about that?
Toxicity is the tox in detox. So the removal of the toxicity is what detoxification is. Okay. And toxins, again, are anything that it just are not intended for the body. And we know what's intended for the body because we know that it fully leaves the body. So if we take in something to the body and it makes a complete exit, then we know it's human food, human substance, good air, good water. If we take something into the body and our body holds on to part of it, whether it's because the air was bad and the filter of our lungs has to hold on to it, and that's why we have bronchitis at some point, or if it's a smoker, they're overusing that filter, or if it's poor water, or if it's food that's not meant to be in the body, that it will leave residue. And that's how we know it's not meant for the body. Now, certainly the body can contend with a certain amount of excess residue. It's not going to go kaput if it just gets a little bit of, a cigarette smoke or a few donuts in a lifetime. That's not going to do it. But this sort of systematic intake of bad air, bad food, bad water is compiling, and it becomes exponentially more difficult for the body to break it down and eliminate it if it's getting more than it can keep up with. It's kind of like that I Love Lucy episode when they have the assembly line going, and remember they get amok and they're trying to catch up with it. Once it starts going amok, you just can't catch up with it. Right. So that's what we're dealing with, and the body's just like, wait, I need to triage this. Stop giving me that. Just give me a minute to take a break. This, and I'll take care of this for you, because it's very efficient. The body's, even after all these generations that we've wronged it, the body is still so strong. It will work for us if we just give it half a chance. Yeah. We can't keep on impeding its efforts, though.
So awesome. Love it. And then you talk, as there's an epidemic of obesity, and I know you talk about having excess weight is excess waste. Can you talk about that? Because I know a lot of people go into detox wanting to lose weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that accumulation that occurs over the years is the waste, which is also the weight. And that's going to appear in all kinds of ways on the body. And what people don't often realize is what they see on the body is happening in the internal organs. So when you see facial skin developing pockets of water or a certain heaviness or deep creases, that's happening in your organs too. You're just seeing the mirror of what's inside. If we're talking about, love handles and saddlebags and cellulite, that's the same thing. That's the waste just needing to be pushed into places because the body needs to keep the center open. That's its main goal. If the center gets completely blocked, then everything really gets messed up. So the body's always working to keep the center open. And often it can work so hard at it, it still gets blocked. And then, we have our, vital organ diseases. Right. But this attempt to do something with the waste, because it's not meant to be that way. People come to this work mostly for weight loss, but then they discover that the real gold is actually in something on the other side of the rainbow, which is what they wind up finding after they remove the waste, and they realize, well, great, I'm leaner, but hang on, I actually feel alive now. Whereas a lot of people can count calories and do different programs of packaged foods, but that are low calorie and low fat, or adhering to some sort of program, and they might lose weight because they're not eating as much as they were eating before, but their vitality is still nowhere to be seen. So if you want to have all the benefits of cleansing the body, but also have the weight loss, that's the great thing to keep in mind, that equation of weight equals waste.
That's so amazing. I love it, and I love you. So I know you're talking about this of like actually nourishing the body. What's the difference from nourishing our body and then having like fake imitated energy, like having true energy?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a really good question. There's something called false fire. And false fire is what you get when you get stimulation of acidic foods. So coffee, red meat, grains, any acidic foods that you feel a buzz from, that's false fire. It's not real energy. But that's what most people are used to. And the difference between false fire and real energy is not only that the real energy feels better, but the real energy is not addictive. So if you were to remove, for example, cantaloupes from your life, you would not crave cantaloupes. Now, you might really love the idea of a cantaloupe, sinking your teeth into the nice juicy fruit. I know everyone's having a cantaloupe right now. I've got some I'm going to have for lunch actually myself. So I'm ready to sink my teeth into them, but I'm not addicted. But if it's, if you take something like the coffee or the meat away or the grains away, people will actually start to shake eventually. They'll have what any drug addict has as a reaction to missing out on their substance. So that's how we know the difference. If you start to crave something, no, hang on, it's probably acidic, and what it's giving me is a false fire. And it doesn't mean that you need to take it out tomorrow, but it means you need to recognize it for what it is, because what this is all about is not perfection, but consciousness. So we become conscious about what we're doing, so we're not doing it mindlessly.
So amazing. I've never heard that before from you. I've read all of your books and I love that. That's such a good reminder for any time that we have the craving, that it's that false fire. False fire. I like that. Very cool.
I love something new every now and then. Yeah. It's predictable.
And does that plays into alkalinity as well, right? I mean, we're craving the acidity. Can you talk about alkalinity and why that's so important for our bodies to be alkaline?
Right. So actually the connection's perfect segue, because the things that are alkaline are not going to be addictive, and the things that are acidic are going to be addictive to some degree. The degree to which they're acidic is the degree to which they're addictive, which is also kind of fun to think about. Okay, that's why cocaine and heroin are more addictive than, say, sprouted grain bread. Right. but both have that false fire in them. Okay, so alkalinity is our human tissues are made to be alkaline. Human blood is alkaline. The human body, earth, terra firma, fresh air, fresh, clean water. All that is good in life is alkaline. Good feelings, good emotion, joy, love, all that stuff is alkaline. And then you have the acidic substances, which are the things that really aren't, or which are more manufactured, man-made. Even things like grain only came to being about 10,000 years ago. So the things that are not natural tend to be acidic. Now, there can still be some plant extracts and things that can be natural and not good for us, can have acidic effects, like coffee and tobacco and these sorts of things. The alkaline substances have the negative ionic charge, and that's what we're looking for. That's what conducts the life force energy. So if you have all these extra electrons going around the atom, more electrons on the outer shell of the atom than there are protons in the nucleus, then you have a negative ionic charge. And that's what makes the life force spin and conduct, so that cells, I like to think of it as cells kissing cells, passing on the life force, just passing on the love, and that generates the life force. So all the good things in our environment are designed to work at one with us to keep the life force conducting, because that's how the interconnected life network of living light and energy and even physicality works. Yep. And we feed each other. So when where there's acidity, we're talking now about a positive ionic charge, and that creates a blockage. That's like smothering the candle. The acidity does.
That's so great. I love this stuff. And so all of this, because I know all the things that are alkaline, right, for our bodies and the so-called health food are good for you. People have it moderation, it's too restrictive. But I love how your approach is abundance and joy. Can you talk a little bit about kind of the diet mentality and how this is different?
Well, first of all, we never, there's a bridge. So the way I like to look at it is, we were brought up in this paradigm that really isn't good for humans, but we do it anyway because it serves various factions. It won't upset our parents because that's the way they did things, or corporations have something to gain from it. We do things not because they're right. We just do them because that's the way they're done. Right. And that's why I call it the paradigm of untruth, the paradigm that doesn't work for humans. And then there's the paradigm that does work for humans. And also, I mean, there's not one truth. Every native tribe did things a little bit differently, but they all lived a life that worked for humans, the indigenous people. So there are many pathways that are true, just as there are many pathways that are untrue. There are lots of ways to do things wrong. There are lots of ways to do things right. But the fundamental difference is that the life-generating pathway is always going to revere the interconnectedness of life. So that network of living energy that we all share, and if we cut ourselves off from it, we suffer, and if we link ourselves up with it, we thrive, we have joy, we conduct, we get to share the planet with the grasshoppers and the trees and the elephants and all that, and each other and all that good stuff. So that's, now what was your question?
the diet mentality, or just like how this is like an abundance and like true nourishment.
Okay, so back to that. I mentioned the two paradigms because really what we're trying to do is create a bridge. And the bridge going from the world that doesn't work for humans to a world that does. And anyone who is even on that bridge, whether they're taking their first step or whether they're well on their way to a life that works for them, they are at the party. They're doing the right thing. They have to take into consideration where they're coming from. What are their origins? What were they eating for the last 10, 20, 30 years? What are their symptoms? And this is where we have what we call transition foods come in. So actually the goal is not to be raw. The goal is not to be as hardcore and, mad as a hatter about cleansing as you can be. The goal is to really be able to sit with where you are and know how much waste am I going to be able to awaken and release without harming my body, because basically what a lot of people do is they awaken too much at once, which is going to mean that all those poisons that they're awakening are running through their bloodstream. Yeah. And if they don't get out the door, they're just going to resettle. So it's a lot of effort the body has to go through that's going to tax the body for no good end. And they need to know how much they can actually get out of the body. So how much they can awaken and release easily, effortlessly, not harming their body, not harming their emotions. Because, if we're going to attack ourselves because we need to have a little sprouted grain in our diet, but we know, sprouted grain is not ideal human food. But that sprouted grain sandwich that you have every day for lunch with your avocado and raw salad may be what enables you to take that next step on the bridge. So there are some people that some of these things are more applicable to and for than others. Some people shouldn't have grains, and some people shouldn't have nuts, but they maybe should have fish and goat cheese to help them as their transitional tools across the bridge. Some people will forever keep a little bit of sprouted grain, a little bit of fish, a little bit of goat cheese in their diet because that's really what honors them. They want to enjoy those things to happen in their diet, and they don't necessarily need to live the living Olympics, the detoxification Olympics. They just want to get enough out of it that they're not in the doctor's office, they're not on their medication, they're not on medications, they fit into the clothes they want to wear, and they feel really good about their body. So people need to figure out what their goals are, not compare themselves to anyone else, and know what they're coming into this with. What is the state of their body? What has been their diet historically? And what are they emotionally and physically and socially capable of, financially capable of? All of these things factor in. And not to reject any of that, to embrace it, to honor the journey, and to really, to dance the dance. It really is more of a dance than, a sprint.
Mm-hmm. So fabulous. Well, I so appreciate all of your wisdom, and as I've interviewed you before, and I could talk to you for hours about this. But if people are interested, they can sign up for the course and tap more into your wisdom. But thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Alexandra. Really.